that part where they all fell down, like they were overwhelmed and overtaken by the power of God, which is just insane.
Well, hey, welcome back to our podcast. We've been off for a little while because Chandler went to the beach.
I did do that.
Did you get a tan?
It was really only sunny for one day.
Oh, really? Did it rain a lot? Or just overcast?
Overcast. It rained one day. Didn't stop me. I was still just laying out there. I mean, you're getting wet anyway, so.
Yeah.
But no, the last day it was sunny. So I got I got kind of like a base tan.
What did your baby think of the water? Did you just...
I just kind of like dipped him in. It was like a chicken nugget going in like sauce, kind of. But it was, no, he didn't scream, so I guess that's good.
That's a
He
win.
might have been asleep, so I don't really know, but.
His first experience of the ocean was while he was sleeping.
Yeah. No, he loved a nap on the beach though. That was his favorite thing.
Most people do. Most people like sleeping on the beach. Not like overnight, because then they have sand flies and sand fleas, and you get robbed and stuff like that. I assumed you would get robbed on the beach. Are there like roaming pirates on the beach these days? Probably not, right?
I mean, we did see a pirate ship.
Did you really?
Yeah, they kept trying to get you to get on it.
Yeah, I imagine it only costs like, a few dollars.
Yeah. Like $100
That's what somebody
a
else
person.
was telling me the other day, that they had the opportunity to take a helicopter ride into the bottom of the Grand Canyon.
That's cool.
And they decided not to, but because it was so expensive.
Yeah.
But now they're regretting it because they're like,
Like a once in a lifetime
when am I
thing.
ever going to get to take a helicopter ride to the Grand Canyon? What's the coolest thing you've ever seen? Like, what's your like beauty amazed moment where you saw something and you were like, wow.
Probably I went to Denver, Colorado for a concert at Red Rocks, and that was super cool. But like landing in the Denver airport, because it's like kind of, you just like land in the middle of like mountains. And so like and then the Denver airport's like outside of the city.
Right.
And so like as you're driving in, like I probably shouldn't have done this, but I FaceTime my wife while I'm driving from the airport just to be like, look what I see right now. Like that was super cool.
It is. It's beautiful out there. I couldn't breathe very well out there.
Yeah.
But it is beautiful. The Grand Canyon was probably one of my favorites, but the Badlands, oh my goodness, South Dakota, North Dakota, the Badlands are just breathtaking. Yeah. So, because I was thinking about this when I was writing the sermon last week, the garden that Jesus is in where he gets arrested, is it my kind of garden?
Yeah.
Or what kind of garden is it, do you think? I mean, is it like a...
I don't think they had like planter boxes, right?
That's what I'm saying. Is it
raised garden beds?
Is it a public garden?
With like, that's what it feels like,
yeah,
right?
It's just like a place people go chill?
Or is it like a park, right? Like,
yeah.
I kind of think about that sometimes. Like, are they talking about like just a public green space,
Because it says he goes often, right?
Yeah.
Because Judas knows exactly where to go get him at. So he goes there.
Or it's like, is he friends with the owner? Like,
He's got the hookup.
Like, who do you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because he obviously goes there a good bit. So I didn't know if have you ever done things like that? Like where you go out and like spend time with God in nature?
See, I'm not a big, I get hot really easily. And so like,
So
I'm not a big nature guy,
Gotcha.
Unless there's like air conditioning out there,
What was that animated movie where that guy kept yelling nature, and it was played by the guy that plays the character of Ross on Friends. He was like a giraffe or something, or zebra.
Oh, Madagascar?
Yeah, and he doesn't like nature.
Yeah.
But I've spent some time in like the wilderness, so to speak, with God, and it is pretty cool. Like,
I probably should do that more. Just not a big nature guy.
Well, I'm talking about like nature, like drive up and get out and experience God and get back in the car.
No,
not like
something like that.
Roughing it.
Yeah.
So, but I would like to go out to like out west where you can like, where there's places where you ever seen those videos where they like show the stars in the night sky and it's like you can see the entire galaxy rotating.
Yeah.
Or the Northern Lights. I've always wanted to see that too.
That'd be cool.
So I wonder if that's why. Like because Jesus, he takes off a lot to go pray, right? And it seems to be like in the mountains or in the will. What do you think? What do you think that?
Well, I've always thought like with that, like he obviously he went away to be, not that he would get distracted, but so that there weren't other people around, right? Yeah. But then like when you think about him going into the wilderness or going into the mountains or the gardens and stuff like that. Like I haven't really thought too deep on it until recently, but like sometimes I wonder if he did that to, one, enjoy creation, but then also two, like because he knew that people wouldn't follow him there, right? Like people weren't going to go to climb up a mountain.
Yeah.
Like it's like, what is Jesus doing? Like, okay, he can go do that. I'll stay down here, you know. But I don't know. Like I've never truly thought that deep on that. I just figured he was just going away.
Yeah, he does seem to separate himself from the humdrum of society, right?
Yeah.
Like he seems to like pull himself aside. And I think that's why people have like prayer closets and places like that where they can kind of go and retreat. And I have found that if I don't silence my phone, it's hard for me to even study my Bible or pray, like because it'll just buzz and it'll be like, "Hey, 10% off your next box of chew treats." You know what I'm talking about?
Exactly.
It's nothing important at all.
Nothing important at all.
It's just like all of a sudden it pops up.
My ADD kicks in.
Yeah.
I'm gone.
But so I think it's fascinating to me to think that. So the How I Am series, the whole point was to say, okay, who is this Jesus?
Yeah.
And if he is who all he says he is, and he needs time away from society,
Yeah.
there's probably a good chance.
How much more do we?
That
You know,
me and you need time away from society, right? But no, I really enjoyed this whole series, like the process, like the learning about the I am, the statements, and it was fun for me.
Yeah.
I don't know, like sometimes I already know all this, but this felt fresh to me. It felt new to me.
Yeah. I mean, I think we hear, like growing up in church, we hear these sermons preached all the time of like, I am the bread of life. I am this. And so, but we don't truly like dig into like, why is he saying I am, right? Like,
like the theological impact,
what is the purpose? Like, why didn't he just like give them bread and say, here, eat. This is like my body. You know, he did, but he also said, I am the bread of life. Like, you're never going to hunger again if you partake of me, you know? And so it's just, I think and that goes with a lot of things when it, like just growing up in church, we hear these sermons and we hear these stories and we just kind of get, I don't want to say numb, but we don't truly dive into it the way that we should. And so I think, I would agree with you, like this, it felt fresh, right? Like even just being in the audience, listening to the sermons preached and like diving into the scripture on my own, like it's one of those things that just, it felt fresh, it felt new, because it wasn't just me reading it saying, oh yeah, duh, he's the bread of life, like yeah, he's the good shepherd, like what does that mean?
Yeah, and how does it affect me, and how does it change how I respond, you know? But I love the fact that when he said I am at the end, it was like the same exact words that came from the burning bush, and that they all fell down. Like I just can't, what do you think? Like in my mind, it was it the force of the voice? Was it like, you know what I'm talking about? Like a superhero power?
And that's another thing, like I've missed that part before, right? Like that they all fell down. Because like sometimes you're just reading over, it's like he says, I am he, and Peter cuts an ear off, and you know, that's the story. But like that part where they all fell down, like they were overwhelmed and overtaken by the power of God, which is just insane. And like through his voice.
Right. And then he says to them, who was it you were looking for again?
He's like, you want to do this again? Like, let's go again.
It's so funny. Like, how can you miss that kind of just like, are you sure about this?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, we want to arrest you. Yeah. Even though we just fell down just by your voice, we're
still
planning on
here.
arresting you. Which totally changes my mind about Peter too, because he just saw Jesus basically in his mind knock them all down. So in his mind, he's like, it's time to go.
Like
right? You know?
It's like that's like in the movie, like whenever you like subdue all the people that are against you, you run.
Yeah.
Right? But Jesus just stood there and said, What were you looking for again?
Yeah, like tell me again.
Who was it?
And then but and then like later on, like when Peter is like fast forward a little bit, he finds himself outside of the trial, right? But he's pretty close by. So John is like, because of his relationship to some of the other high priests, he actually gets to go into the trial, right? But Peter has to stay outside, and that's where he does all the denying of Jesus. Well, I was thinking, like, he just chopped someone's ear off,
Yeah.
right? Like there's a lot of like
just
legal
saw all
ramifications
this.
for
Yeah,
that.
there's a
You know what I'm
lot
talking about?
going on, yeah.
So like for me, it's not like he just decided just to betray Jesus. I think it was like
Yeah.
all of it combined. Like,
yeah.
you know, I just chopped somebody's ear off. Like I'm about to get in trouble for this, and you know they're
I'm
looking
going to
for me.
incriminate myself.
Yeah. But you know, I think it's interesting to just, and I even said this in the sermon Sunday, that there's this trend on social media about how Jesus never said he was God, and he did.
Yeah, he did. He might not have said like straight up, "I am God," but like he told us.
Yeah.
Right. He said that he was God in many different ways for many different people to understand.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know. Yeah, I think it's just it's always trying to nitpick and pick apart, and no one's ever satisfied. And but I do love the fact that our scripture and the Bible is so robust and so just like detailed. And like even when I mentioned the Malchus, and like you could go to Malchus and ask him about the experience. Like the Bible has so many like historically accurate things intentionally put in there. And if you didn't want to do that, you'd be more vague, right? Yeah. And so I think, go for it. Ask the questions.
But I think too, like I was talking to somebody about this week. Like I think sometimes we struggle as a society, as humans, to accept the fact that there is a higher being, like that there is a God, because we don't want to fear him, right? Like we're too afraid to accept that, because for there to be somebody out there like God who's all powerful, like that invokes fear, and people don't want to be afraid. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so we're called as Christians to fear God in a reverent fear. But I think too often, like as humans, sometimes we get like caught up in, back to like Jesus saying, "I am he," and everybody falling down. Like,
right.
I could imagine those soldiers and that mob was afraid in that moment, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, I think when we accept the fact that God is real and that there is a higher power out there that is controlling all things and created all things and did it with the sound of his voice, that invokes fear. And if we're not willing to accept that fear, and I'm not saying afraid as in like, yes, he could wipe us all out with the sound of his voice, just like he created everything.
Right.
But that should invoke that reverence. And I think sometimes people don't want to accept that because they don't want to fear. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. And I think they don't want to have to change.
Yeah.
Right? And if there's no one more powerful than me, then I get to do what I want.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
But they don't, though. Like, and it's even funnier, like, but even then they want to be able to blame God for the things that don't go right.
Exactly.
And then tell their stories of miraculous, pulled myself up from my bootstraps.
Yeah, like I did this, but when something bad happens, God did that. Yeah.
And that's just part of
that's our human nature, our sin. Yeah.
And I think it's going to be here until Jesus comes back again.
Yeah.
I think that was when, like I said this in the sermon, but it really was like, I think I would love to, as a preacher, get up on stage and say, if you accept Christ, nothing bad will ever happen to you.
Your life will be perfect, yeah.
Yeah. But that's not real.
No.
And I think that there are some people who do some disservice to other Christians out there when they, like the health and wealth kind of thing. The
prosperity,
like I just don't.
Yeah.
Like you're still going to get diagnosed with stuff, But you were going to anyways.
Yeah.
So the difference is do you want to do this complete on your own power or with
the power of God behind it?
With the power of God.
Yeah.
And I think that's the big difference. And I think that's what Jesus was saying to these people was, look, I am God in flesh intentionally to show you how to navigate this world in the best way possible. Yeah. Right? And it didn't keep him from dying.
No,
right?
Exactly. Like he still died for all of us, and died a more gruesome death than we will
most
ever.
Most of us will, right?
Yeah.
And then I think for us as Christians, it's like, okay, but so maybe the rain's still going to fall, but man, there's a better way to respond to it.
Yeah. Like I think about it like when people get diagnoses or when people go through those hard times, or when I myself, like, I think, I don't know how anybody could do this without God, right? Like, whether it be a diagnosis, a death in the family, a miscarriage, just something bad happening in your life. Like I don't want to imagine what that would do or how that would be without God.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I know it's hard enough with God, and so I can't imagine not having him on my side when those things come, right?
Yeah, I can't either. That's even like some of the guys that we've been working with at the Joshua Project, and just hearing their stories. Because you have a tendency, I have a tendency to be like, they probably made really bad decisions. Mm-hmm. And then you hear like one guy was telling me like he lost his job because he had a car accident. And when he had the car accident, he didn't have transportation, so he lost his job, but then he couldn't get his car fixed because he didn't have a job.
Yeah.
And then he couldn't pay his rent, and he was like, and I don't have a safety net. Like I don't have family or anybody really left in my life. And he even owned up to like alienating himself from a lot of those people. And it's just like, man, like that without Jesus, it's scary.
It is.
But yeah, I think I've enjoyed it. And the next series we're going into now this summer is Judges. So
it'll be a good one.
It will be. It's a lot of fun stories. I say fun stories. Some of them are pretty crazy.
Yeah, they are.
But
there were some bad judges for sure.
Yeah, so I think that's what we're going to walk into is this kind of changing gears a little bit, more telling stories, and then really then diving into theological conversation. So it'll be a little bit different feel to it. But
which one's your favorite judge? Do you have a favorite judge?
Golly, I
favorite
love the
judge
story of JL. The fact that she can drive a tent peg through the dude's head.
Yeah, it's a good one.
It is. It's not even just that. It's just the whole thing. And like, he's so like arrogant and like no one's going to stop me, especially not a woman, and then she
takes the tent stake right through his head.
She just takes care of business. I always like the story of Samson too.
Samson's a
you
good
got
one,
Samson in there. There's just a lot of good stories in there.
There's good ones, yeah. Gideon, Micah. Yeah.
Yep, Deborah's in there
Deborah.
too. So I think it'll be a good series. Hopefully people will get to hang out, and I know summer Sundays people are in and out a lot, so you'll be able to hop in and hop out without having to carry an ark too much.
Yeah.
You know what
and
I'm
if
saying?
you miss one, they're recorded.
They are.
You can go find them on the website.
Yeah. I think the goal of this next series really is to ask the question, because what happened was Joshua comes in, right? They take everything over, and then Joshua and his new leaders, because they're all new leaders, they do well, and then Joshua dies, and then his leaders stick around, and then those kids, the kids of those leaders did well, but then their kids forgot to keep telling the stories about God.
Tell the stories, yeah.
And then when they didn't share the stories, then it just kind of goes downhill.
Forgot where they came from.
Right. So that's kind of what our whole goal of the series will be, is like, are you sharing the story of God? So,
that's good.
Cool.
I'm excited.
Well, thanks so much for hanging out with us today. We appreciate you. And we appreciate all the people who help us put this thing together. So Kaylin is behind the screen. She can't see her, but and then Mark usually helps us with sound too. So appreciate all those guys. But we will see you guys hopefully on a Sunday morning. Have a great day and do well today. Yeah, like remember that Jesus is God and that He is who He says He is, and therefore He deserves our focus, our reaction, our praise, our obedience. Probably is the hardest for me. But all right, we love you guys. See you later.